So let's dig into hypoallergenic. Let's dig into do not shed. As you mentioned, there is a very popular belief. I think if you ask anyone on the street about
Uh-huh.
doodles, that might be one of the top two things that just randomly comes to their head. So
Yes.
because of those two things, they become a popular option for many, and that's probably the cause of some of the explosion in their popularity. But we've also
Yeah.
heard that this is a big misconception as well. So as someone like yourself who, as we talked about, you at a very young age, you were told that you couldn't have a dog because you were allergic to them, but you wound up becoming
Mm-hmm.
a trainer to doodle of all types. What is your opinion on this popular cultural belief?
I think that's a fantastic question. I'm going to ask you guys a quick question. If you were to define, you're just my focus group here. If you were to define hypoallergenic, how would you describe that for dogs?
Well, I guess if, let's say, a lot of people have that cat allergy, but all of a sudden you meet this cat that you don't have the same reaction to, that must be a special hypoallergenic cat.
Yeah, I mean, mine would be almost exactly the same. I have an allergic reaction with one dog, and then this other dog, that allergic reaction is either minimized or I don't have at all. Basically, that's
And I think that's common belief. Thank you I didn't mean to put you on the spot there. It wasn't a test.
No, all good.
But most people, when they read the word hypoallergenic, the common understanding is that they're kind of allergen free. And you won't be allergic to this dog. I said the phrase, no dog is hypoallergenic. And a scientist listener reached out and was like, that's actually not the appropriate use of that term in science. So, and it was a wonderful conversation, and she's actually coming on the podcast to delve more into it. But it is accurate if you're using the scientific term, but not the commonly understood way it's used. So scientifically, hypoallergenic just means less allergens, and some might have a lower response. So if there's a baseline, it could be just below on average, not for every person. But most people think that's allergen free. And sadly, that's why so many go back or go into rescues or are handed over and given up because people say, well, I got a doodle.
Yeah.
And how can I be allergic to them? There are not scientific studies. It's purely anecdotal that doodles can have less allergens for people.
Yeah.
I personally find it to be true for my body and for many of my clients, but you really have to do allergen testing with your doctor. And you can have the breeder send a washcloth covered in, rubbed on the dog's coat. You want to be tested. Am I allergic to saliva? Every dog has saliva. Am I allergic to pollen? Every dog's going to carry in pollen from the walk or the yard. And narrowing down what that is. And then each doodle, even in the same litter, has different carrying of the shedding gene. And different levels of furnishing. So I could do a total deep dive there, but just because you're getting a doodle is no guarantee that you're not going to have allergies.